Environment is important and we got to keep it up, have made us manage things differently, and from the golf course inception and planning to building it and the way it's routed, not to disturb wetlands, to cross them appropriately, to the maintenance time period, where is to apply fertilizers right so they don't run off into critical areas.
In the early days, the golf course management business was not as technical as it is today, and there were only a few basic turf management tools. It was the superintendent and his staff that developed much of the equipment that we use today. Although he had limited resources, the innovative superintendent always found better ways to get the job done.
The superintendents today are using a lot of tools that their forefathers did not use. Back in the olden days with gang mowers that were pulled by Fords and tractors and so forth, those kinds of things, of course, are relics of the past.
As a matter of fact, we helped developing the pony, the Toro pony, because we used to have the Toro mowers, and our mechanic put a tin platform on top of the mower and put a Pickett Stratton mower on there.
So that engine moved to the reels.
Moved to the reels.
It didn't move the mower.
Oh, no, you still had to push it. You still had to push it. It just moved.
I remember that.
Yeah. And, well, there are so many things that were different then. We didn't have any sprayers or top dressing machines. We pushed the dirt up with a wheelbarrow and spread the dirt on the green and then brushed it in with big brooms till the iron mat came along, and we matted it in. And sprayers, when we applied some nitrate of soda or sulfate of ammonia to a green, we had an old Ford Sun tractor. We had mounted a couple of steel barrels on there. We mixed the chemicals in there and took the sprinkling can, and we put the chemicals on with the sprinkling can before we had our first sprayer. The first sprayer was a bean sprayer. We mounted that on an old Ford Sun tractor, and that was a clumsy old thing, but boy, that was a big thing. And you know, when I think all the things that came along since then, the air fires and the verticuts and all those new tools, the top dressing machines.
I can remember when I first started as a laborer at the cricket club. I was like 15 years old. The old timers were down going along the creeks with size. That was, really a tough job. I couldn't do it. I wasn't strong enough to do it. And they had these fellows that were probably 70 years old going along it. It may have taken them all day to do a little piece of stream, but they had a stone and they would sharpen it up and they would keep moving. And just think if you tried to give a side to someone today.
The machinery, in the last 20 years, the machinery has been developed basically because this is what the superintendent asked for. They demanded it.
Now, as the computer age evolves, dramatic innovations are appearing on the horizon. New technologies spring up overnight, and the advances in equipment are staggering. These advancements are catapulting the industry to a higher level.
Well, the business is changing. You're going to have more trained people working for you. The modern superintendent needs excellent, highly trained people to operate the technologically sophisticated equipment and materials that we use.
When I think of innovative tools, would be the lightweight mowing equipment. We've seen that the weight of equipment dramatically change over the years, and also the quality of the cutting heads increased tremendously. When I started in the business, we used huge F10 tractors to cut fairways, 7-gang tractors. Now individuals are using triplexes for fairways, very lightweight equipment. Also, the innovation in spray technology is tremendous. Today we've got computer-driven, very accurate spray applicating equipment, and has made our job a lot more efficient. And with the type of plant protectants we have today, there's a demand for that very accurate application. We're putting down ounces per acre of plant protectants instead of pounds per 1,000 square feet.
Comparing how we go about controlling diseases and the materials we use today, we're using an eyedropper to control things, whereas years ago they used a sledgehammer. And it takes a lot more care and a lot more paying attention, a lot more expertise now to use the eyedropper and be effective than it did with the sledgehammer years ago. The other area that's changed dramatically is irrigation systems. The efficiency and the technological advancements of the irrigation part of our business have made a tremendous impact in the game of golf. I think the computer controls have given us a tremendous amount of flexibility that we lacked before, and there's been a good deal of engineering done to the irrigation heads themselves to provide a much more uniform pattern, and I think that's something that really benefits the golfer.
We've just seen the tip of the iceberg with computers. I think in 15 or 20 years it'll be like looking back at the size.
Golf course maintenance has evolved to the point where people are taking care of fairways the way greens were treated 20 years ago. So instead of taking care of a couple acres of greens, guys are taking care of 35 acres of fairways and tees the way they used to maintain greens. I think that the golf courses just continue to get better and better. I think the technology is improving not only in the game itself, but also in the tools that the superintendents have to work with, whether it's improved chemicals, better rollers, better mowers, and you know, as things continue to get better, people continue to look for ways to make it even better and better.
Along with these advancements in technology and equipment, the professional image of the superintendent has advanced as well. Our profession is now more recognized in the eye of the golfing public.
We've gone from the greenskeeper to the superintendent. I still hear the word greenskeeper quite often, but if you go to our association meetings, you can see the greenskeeper is no longer at the meetings. It's the superintendent.
The public relations aspect to our membership is important. You don't want to be referred to as the grass cutter down in the shed. You know, you're involved with spending a very large amount of money to prepare and maintain a golf course, and so the people at the club who are the members or the owners want to be able to see the person be available to ask questions and see what's going on with the golf course and how are the conditions. We are now a larger part of the management of the club and a very large part of the overall success of a club.
The superintendent has met the challenges given to him and continues to move forward. He has contributed to the success of his club. Because of his quest to always improve, boards and owners of clubs have recognized his abilities and his vital position within the club.
Well, I think there's been a dramatic change over the last 20 years. Probably the biggest factor is the increased responsibility that a superintendent has.
The superintendent is going to become more of a manager. He's going to be the person at a club or an owner or a golf management company looks to manage several courses, to not only manage the golf course and the expense side, but also to manage the income side.
Today, anyone who is looking for a golf course superintendent expects that baseline agronomic education to be there. And they're now judging people on their ability to get the message across, to speak publicly, to work and negotiate contracts with outside vendors and things of that sort.
Boy, what's happening today, though, is you've got $750,000 to $1 million budget. How many it's a $1 million business. So superintendents have got to become accountants, become managers, they've got to be motivators, they've got to find people, train people. They need assistants, whether it's a spray tech, a secretary, assistant superintendent, a first assistant superintendent, a mechanic, a foreman. It's becoming a true management level professional job.